look into issues that really bothers you in teaching and learning. So Pat Hutchings is the Vice President of Carnegie Institute, Carnegie Academy of Teaching and Learning, CASTL, C-A-T-L, C-A-S-T-L. Yeah? So Carnegie Academy of Scholarship of Teaching and Learning. If you have those handouts, it will be good. So usually we look into three aspects of things. First is what exactly is happening. What is happening in my classroom? Why are students not engaged? Are they not having confidence to speak up? Are they facing confidence issues, or what is it? Knowledge? Or is it not the culture of this university to learn actively? So the question of what is when you do not know what is happening. Like today, if we have time to something, can we make assumptions that okay, I go back to what is. What is means you have just started thinking about an issue, and the issue is vague. It's not clear. It's like hazy to you what it is. This is different from the second type is what works. What works means I already know what is happening on the ground. I just want to have the solution to it. So what is something that you are not familiar and you want to find out. Call it round one, cycle one. Because not knowing what is, you do not have solution. Like why people come late to your class? What is it? Did they indirectly reject my teaching? Don't they have good time management? What is it? If we do not know, then we sit down and assume, and we start blaming. Usually, this is the way we blame. It can't be me, it must be them. And that is not good. Yeah? So what works means you already know. For example, if your class is 7 to 9 p.m., can you expect some girls don't turn up because it's late? Or for some reason, they need to go home, go back to a hostel, and it rains and they don't come back? Things like that. Nothing to do with your teaching. It is the timing, it is the mood, it is the setting. Yeah? I am not sure by putting you sitting in groups like this, does it work for you? Not really, isn't it? Because some of you is facing the other side or having to turn like this. So what we think is conducive to you, we never ask you. We just assume this kind of sitting is good for you. But if I now interview, some who face the front would maybe say, it's okay, it's just like just now, nothing has changed. But those who are facing the back would have some reservation. Why you change? You make us do this, but never there was a discussion within group. You are still talking in front. So the reality is, what I think is good for you, you may not think so. And therefore, whom to ask, if not you? Because you are the recipient. You are receiving the treatment. It's just like doctor may say this and this supplements are good for you. This will cure you, your dengue. But the patient has the right to say something after receiving treatment, isn't it? I cannot look at the thermometer and start giving you more dose. It will kill you, not knowing what is happening in your body. So let's say we prescribe medicine, so the people who take the medication have all the right to tell us whether we have prescribed rightly, timely, and curing them, and making them feel good. Yeah? So students have the right. So what works for them is after you find out what is happening on the ground, then what could be? What could be the reason? Yeah? It may lead you to collaborating, because alone we can only have one or two ideas. But collaborating with different colleagues who face similar problems or have some issues that they want to resolve similar to ours, I think we can do better. So I will now show you examples of what is. If I have uploaded, and I assume they would have read before coming, when I actually see them, only 2 out of 105 read. So, something not right. Blame it on them. They know they should read, but they never read. But what exactly happened to them? Okay, when did I tell them they should read? Was it last week? After that, no reminder, right? There's no Facebook or WhatsApp to remind them they should read before they come. So this forgetting is very convenient excuse for them. So can they access my reading material online? This refers to hostel that have no online, cannot access. Or poor students who have no smartphones. When we put things online, we are denying them. Indirectly saying that because you don't have it, sorry, you have to make more effort to get it. It's like punishing them. And that is something that we indirectly created, yeah, issues for them. So is it mere, because they don't have the basic, yeah? Just now, Lali was telling me regarding this batch is based on tests, right? Last time you used to have CAM, right? So the CAM group and the test group will show you some kind of difference. And that difference needs to be made known so that you know how to treat this batch and beyond in a different manner, with different expectation. Some research has to be done regarding this group. Is it the willingness, preparedness? Is it the ability to, the intellectual capability, etc.? Now the decision has been made that you will be using tests instead of other methods. But it doesn't mean it can be justified. It was a decision made. But it doesn't mean this is good for your student selection. And there are issues that come with this new way of doing things. There are also positive outcomes using this test method. I think Oxford and the rest also use TOEFL and all that to bring in students, so they don't have issues, and therefore we have particular issues, this batch, so we have to look into this. So what is you exactly know what is happening, the transition from the CAM to the test-based placement. If you already know, then you go on to what works. Okay, so all these are just assumptions. as I do not have a case with me here. What could be? Okay, let's say you teach mathematics and you upload 3 pages of mathematical text. And you think 3 pages is easy. So long as you want to attempt, you will be able to get at least 50% out of that article. Only 3 pages, it's not 30, it's not 300. So this is your assumption. But anybody afraid of maths? Yeah? No good at maths? Like the cos, sine, cosine, you only memorize, you don't really know what they mean because they are abstract. Okay, for this group of students, even 1 page is torturing, not to mention 3 pages. Yeah? Why? Because there is a basic skill called mathematical reading. It's not there. It is absent. So a person who doesn't have this mathematic proficiency will suffer his 4 years so long as this lecturer uses mathematical language. He will suffer. He may pass. If you have lecture like this, you know, so long as you show effort, you will pass. But he is like in the mist, in a haze thing, in a smoke. Can see, but not clear. Everything looks blurry. 4 years studying this course, full of sufferings. You either get punishment from this teacher or this person says you are lazy. Because the interest or the fundamental is not there in this student to withstand this.
Should that student, if they say he knows that he's already not good at maths, and he knows that most of the subjects are mathematical, oriented subject, shouldn't he just stop learning and then move to other universities or change courses or something like that?
Does this university allow change of course within the same uni?
Certain case, yes, right. But I mean that why? I mean that this is what I think, because these students are already an adult student,
yeah,
mature student. They should be able to think of themselves what is their strengths and weaknesses in that aspect. Why suffer for another 4 years having difficulties learning mathematics, whereas they know that their talent is not in maths? Why don't they just stop studying and then do something else which is they can perform better? I think and looking at that aspect, like if let's say dealing with like 10, 15 students, it's okay. Once you start dealing with 100 students and knowing that this student consistently not be able to fail or just barely pass, my advice only to them is just, I think you should change course or just change university or something like that. I mean, why do something that is out of your passion? I don't know. How do you tackle this?
Agree?
In theory, yes, but practically probably not. In theory, yes. In theory, it sounds very good. You know, you should pursue your passion and that kind of thing. Practically, there are many other things. Like, how many of us would really want our children to grow up to be a painter just because he loves painting when he's a kid? Anybody?
Painters.
He's a painter. Because he loves painting. See,
They can say 100,000
as
for
well.
painting.
We may not see things from that perspective. Or somebody say, oh, I love dancing. Because I'm not ready for that. I'll probably have to fight my child to make sure, okay, this is not what you're pursuing. Honestly. How about that's what I mean.
Has anyone watched the movie 3 Idiots?
Yes, I've watched that.
I watched
I'm a student as well. But that is 3 people out of over 1 billion population in India.
If you
That
have
is
not
also
watched,
true.
please watch. Okay, I like this. I like this discussion because one is coming from the student's point of view. If I really can't do it, I will face failure in coming few years. And if I manage, I will suffer even more in my career doing things that I may not like. This is coming from students' point of view.
Always whenever my student asks me like, should I take this course or this course, always tell them you have to do something that you like. Because if you like that course, if it's difficult, you want to work at it. It is something that you have to do at the rest of your life. Don't do things just because your parents ask you to. That's why I tell them. There must be something that you like. If you like it, even if you're not so good at it, of course you should get good at it and you like it. So, but if you like something, it's easier for you to work at it rather than doing something that you don't like.
I see where he is coming from. This student is not alone. He has family. He has loan. He has pride and dignity. He has fear. He has own ambition. But since you are here already, why don't you just do it? Complete it. Show a sense of responsibility to family. Prove that you can. This is coming from a bigger, not just a student, but who is behind the student? A family, parents, society, isn't it? Neighborhood. The whole kampong knows you are here, and now you say you can't do it. I can see his point. But there should be a room for some students after realizing after 1 or 2 semesters, this is really not my cup of tea. There should be scaffolding. Someone whom he can talk to, someone who can advise, and some flexibility in the management that allows change of course. Yes, Dr. Amy.
Just my point of view, it's just that at which point do we let them decide to stop or deciding that stopping is the best way? Because sometimes we feel that we shouldn't push them too much if that's not what they want. But some of these kids, they don't know what they want, or they are not being pushed enough to really show their potential. Because a lot of these kids, as you said, they are very resourceful. They survive maybe 17, 18 years of their life being spoon-fed with a lot of materials that they are very happy and they got A's and all that. Sometimes, because in reality when they go into university, they didn't get an A anymore. Sometimes they fail because they don't know how to learn or they don't know how to do it on their own. And sometimes that's the real issue, I think. Especially because I taught foundation before, I taught first year now. I can see that sometimes the transition from school, even until first year, they're still struggling. And when they go to undergraduate, we expect them to be great people who can learn on their own. And in fact, we never teach them how to learn, not how to, really learn on their own. So maybe a bit of pushing is needed from us.
How hard?
Yeah, that's the thing.
Was they commit suicide because
pushing
of us?
Yeah, how much
Kind
pushing
of
how much
pushing.
Yeah, that's I think one issue.
Yeah. At what point we push and at what point we ponder, ask them to stop and we have a discussion regarding your future and what your heart wants. But when we have too many students, we do not have the heart and time and space for them. Just like a herd of sheep, go inside, yeah, why are you here? Okay, why are you here? Oh, you don't like it. You see others already go in, go now. You think all your pushes are intentionally good. May I ask, outside this topic, among us, do you think university student is for all or only for those intellectuals, those who really can get? Education for all, higher education for all, everybody deserves a chance to prove themselves, or is it meant for few selected ones who have shown intellectual capability to go up some more, the PhD thing, the pyramid thing. So, education, higher education for all.
For all who wants it.
For all who wants it. You think so? Education is for all who wants it. So it is the willingness, not the competency, correct? And the rest, is it education for selected few? Just like in the past, only the bureaucratic, not the bureaucrat, maybe the tested and proven intelligent can come. Not all can come, the door is very narrow and small, you squeeze. The more you push yourself, the more welcome you are to this university. Who thinks this way? It is not meant for all. So your concern is competency, is it? And daughters? You are the education for everybody.
Everybody should be given a chance to try. And if they really cannot do it, then
when do they know they really cannot do it? Now that they have come in, they are with you, so first semester, a few of you. Then they will go to second sem with another few. But you all don't talk about me. You just see me as passing and you see me as failure. But among you, you don't notice me. I'm 1 out of 105. Nobody notices me. I can survive. I will not excel, but I will survive. But I will suffer also if I survive.
if I just may share a story. This goes way back 7-8 years ago. So I had this student as my mentee because he came in with a diploma to UTP and he enlisted as an undergraduate student. And he was at borderline case lah. The CGPA is like 1.99, 1.98, and he cannot cope. One is because of the language barrier, because during diploma he studied in Malay, and then when he came into UTP, everything is in English. So that is one big problem for him. Secondly, he is in engineering, but he really couldn't do any mathematical subject. So in engineering, how do you run away from maths, calculation? He struggled with this. But eventually, he went through the whole system. And every time I see him, because he came in as first year, and he graduated. And I was with him throughout the whole journey. I still keep in touch with him today. And although he is not mathematically very good, he has other very good qualities. And he did extremely well after his internship. He did very well in his internship. He came back, he applied that in his final year project. And today he is working. And he comes from a very poor family where being in university is seen as the ticket to a better life for his mom and for his siblings because he has no father. So, I don't know what role I played in motivating this boy, but to see him finish is very heartwarming for me. And he keeps in touch with me till today. He's married now, he has a child. And I don't have the time to sit and talk to him or reflect with him, but I think a lot of our students come with a lot of baggage, and we need to understand the baggage that they come with. I agree with Dr. Hasnain. If my own story, okay, I really wanted to become a lawyer. Okay, I really wanted to become a lawyer, but my dad was the sole breadwinner in the family. And I had no way out. My dad didn't have the money to send me to college. College is loads of money, right? So he told me, you have to go into Form 6. You have to study if you want a better life. This is how much I can do for you. And after this, it's up to you. If you can't do it, that's fine. But you must at least try to do it. So, well, I tried, but obviously it wasn't enough to get me into law. But I think if I did law today, if I did law in university, I don't think I would have met my husband, gotten married, go into UKM, do my masters, and end up with a PhD today. You know, things change along the way, and I grew up with this. My parents never forced me. Okay, my mom is a housewife. My dad was in the high courts, government servant. So, you know, we were raised, me and my sister were raised with this notion that you have to study if you want to do well in life, and we want to see you do better than us. Correct? I think everybody here is, you know...
you see the strong hunger in her for knowledge and for a better life. The young Suvarna, when she was 18, 19, this is the kind of situation that you are talking about, so long as you want it. She wanted it very much.
Yes.
She's not like, I push, she doesn't move, I push harder, I push until, you know, totally give up. She's not like that. So if you had done law, you would have become a good lawyer. If you have done other things, but not science, right?
Yes.
Not maths.
Yeah.
Push her to maths, what will happen? Let's say you manage.
Yes.
Put you to mathematics.
No, I wouldn't have
you know,
survived.
actual science, money making, you know. Actual science is very good, right? You project the future, Will you be happy? Will you survive?
No. I was in the science stream Form 4 and Form 5. I did not do too badly, but when it came to Form 6, I decided that if I were to be in science stream, I don't think I would do well. So why do I want to jeopardize myself and do something that, although if I push myself hard enough, I would be able to do it, why should I do it? Because there's no sense of satisfaction. You're always jittery because you know you have to do extra work and whatnot. Not to say that being in arts is easy, because I had to learn everything from scratch, economics, business, accounting, everything from scratch. But I survived, and I went to university, and I survived it, and I'm here today. So, and I still want to keep learning every day, because I think there is something we can learn every day. That's why I always tell my students, I'm not here just to teach you, I also want to learn from you. So,
she is an ever-ready learner. So put her at the right place, she will automatically learn or find opportunities to learn. But put her in a difficult position, she would fight back. But she would suffer when she fights back. Put her in maths, teaching maths. Yeah, and you. But she knows herself so well. Our students don't. Our children, do they know themselves well? If you have children by the age of 12, 13, do they know what they want? Or they just follow?
They think they know, but
they don't, huh?
they think they know.
And they try to please us. That's the problem. Being filial, you know, good sons and daughters, they try to please their parents, and our children try to please us until they forget what they are good at. And we also follow. Sometimes, oh, you do so well, huh? If not a doctor, what a waste. Then we start creating the fantasy. You know, if you become the doctor, all the family medical care will be taken care by you. So nice, no? So you should go ahead and become a doctor. that's the way it should be. There comes the pressure. There comes the expectation, not realistic. But still, he said, I can do it. I can do it.
Can I put a little bit check this if you don't mind?
Yes.
I think it's not a simple black and white situation.
Yes. It's not easy.
You can't just say, yes, this is right, and no, that's wrong. Somewhere in between. Talking with the very perfect example that you've picked on, like about 10 years old, 12 years old. Do they know what they want to know? Okay. Well, yes, they love pain. They would like the easy way. Nobody wants to work hard, generally speaking, right? You ask them, my son who says, oh, listen, they enjoy computer. Yes, I'll grow up and be a computer, be a programmer. He doesn't even know what a programmer is. But because they see them as a way to interact with their toy, you're thinking, okay, that's something I can take as a profession. A programmer, I don't know. And likewise, given a choice, an easy path, okay, you take this course, you only need to study like 4 hours a day. This one, you need to study 10 hours a day, 8 hours a day. The child may have the capability, may have the potential, all the talent to be a doctor, but because an easier path is available, we'll opt for it. So as a parent, as an educator, are we not supposed to put them there? Okay, go ahead, do it. You can do it. Use your talent and put in your time and effort. So that is what I mean for kids. I need to not give them fever all the time, but give them a correct.
Here we are talking about perspective. Perspective. And we must take into consideration the student's perspective. It is their life, not our life. If she is insistent about this, she would make the right choice for herself. She would change course. She would even exit and go to another university and ask for credit transfer. She will do all kinds to make her dream come true. But if she is competent, just want to find the easy way out, then encouragement is the solution. Yeah? Push a bit harder, this person can become an expert in medical science. Yeah? Why waste this talent? So we really do not know until we know our students inside out. We know their preference, we know their strength, we know how competent they are, and we know what he or she enjoys doing, and forget time. Just do and do and do. You know, some people just draw and forget to eat the meals. They just like it. Or computer. We do not know. Now, who is changing the world? Smartphone, right? Computer, right? They are changing the world more than doctors do. Yeah? More than engineers do. I see it that way. So which one is more valuable? We do not know. But so long as you are doing something so willingly and so competently, both must be there. Willing and competent. If willing but not competent, failure, it will jeopardize the confidence, the self in us, and make us a big failure in life and in studies. And that feeling is really, really not good. Not healthy. The fact that you try your best but you fail, or you almost fail, is not a good mental health for us to pursue like this. So we are talking about both now. So if you know your students well, if they are willing, encourage them. If they are not competent, then to what extent is it a hopeless case? Has she given up? If she has given up, look for other alternatives and solutions. Don't waste time here. Yeah, just because you are supported by PTPTN, it doesn't mean you have no choice but to go on like this. Yeah, so this would be a good, well, this is not quite related to SoTL, yeah, because SoTL is about how teacher help them. But this is something that the student has to decide, not waiting for your help. If you see them, it will be good, because there will be opportunity for them to talk it out. But they have to decide. Yeah, and knowing them, if you can engage them, it will be good. So anyway, how to turn all these issues of students coming unprepared, only 2 out of 105 read before they come to your class. After you go and ask them about what are the problems that they face, maybe a good research question would be, how do I help my students acquire literacy in reading mathematical texts? Notice the key word here is how do I. That means you have some tools or bullets or some things that you use to motivate them to uplift their mathematical literacy. How do you do that? You start from scratch, as if they know nothing about maths, and then you start giving them some formulas and ask them, what do you feel or understand about this formula? How do you start with? So if we run out of ideas how to do, there's always Google. Google Scholar, you type mathematics literacy, thousands of articles at different level, maybe high school level, pre-U level, foundation level, advanced level, PhD level, about mathematical literacy. It can't be, this is the problem that I face alone in this world. There's so many mathematics teachers around, they must have done something about this. As I read, then I can do my literature. This kind of SoTL research does not require very comprehensive literature. Find a few articles, develop your own solution that you think could help the students, then start working on a few students who are really weak, who cannot understand formula or cannot see something very abstract. Work on them first and report what has changed after you work on them. So make it very small, manageable. By the way, you didn't stop teaching or stop researching just because you want to do SoTL, isn't it? SoTL is just some spices in your teaching, just some pepper in your teaching. It should not take over your teaching. So you have to keep it very small. Experiment on 3 weakest ones, or 3 repeaters. Those who fail now come to you, work on them, maybe. Or you may want to interview those who read mathematical texts very easily, very fast. Interview them. How did you do it? How did you first develop reading mathematical texts? Who taught you? Tuition teacher? What method did he use? What article did he use to inspire you to be able to be so literate in mathematics? That means investigate the best practice or the best performers, see how they have achieved so far, see what they have overcome in order to come to this excellent literacy. Or, on the other hand, look at what is it not working for the poor group, the slow group. Then with that you can report. It really doesn't take a lot of money to do this, but it takes your heart to do it.
Must it be always so the research focus on the poor group or
No. You can even introduce something very generic so that most people benefit. Remember the 80% in the middle? So they need something from you in order to enhance their literacy. Let's say they can read, but not fast enough. So you want to enhance this literacy, what methods would be good? Go online and then you see what are the options available. Yes,
The
Dr.
objective must be specific. For example, I want to increase the lower percentage, let's say below 40%. My question is whether the SoTL program must be very specific in terms of objective. For example, I want to increase the term of mark for the lower group, for example, who get less than 50% in the final grade, can be so generic. For example, I want to have very general, high percentage.
You have a class in front of you when you write your SoTL proposal, or is it an imaginary class? The actual one. So you will know after the first test, isn't it? Who is on the upper 60 and who is on the lower 40. And you want to work on the 40. And you actually know them by their name, this group is under 40 marks. So you can be specific, because when you are writing this proposal, and it will last you for maybe 3 months or so. So, because you have someone in mind, so you can write in a very specific manner.
I can spell out the names of the students?
There's no need.
No need.
All names are anonymous because they are just students who need help. We try to take care of the sensitivity of students. Over lunch, we even talk about experimental group. We should have control group and experimental group, or we shouldn't. What is your opinion? Like 105, right? Divide them into half, or make them like boys one group, girls one group, and then for the boys I use this method, for the girls I try out this method, and I report, see whether both progress well, if not why. Or make comparison between the two. Or I have 2 classes. One class I do conventionally, and another class I use Padlet. Okay or not? Experimental marking, because it's engineering, we need to find out when this is constant, Okay, they are not machines, they are not computers, they are not your equipment, and they have all the right to enjoy whatever you think is the solution for their learning, correct? If class A enjoys it, why you deny class B? It doesn't make sense at all. Whatever you want to find out is your choice. But I am also a rightful person sitting here. They are waiting for the best from you. Why are you delaying the best and ask me to wait? I can't wait. As I see you do things differently, I begin to suspect your professional identity may not be that professional. And it incurs some ethical issues. Yeah? So we don't do experimental. So what is good is that you are still having this group with you. Let's say you only want to implement something next semester. Okay, before this group exits, try to get as much information as possible regarding areas that they can't cope, or areas that you didn't do well, or you did well that you want to continue next semester. Try to get as much information from this group that will give you ideas to benefit next group. Am I denying this group? No. No. I just get information so that I can improve myself the next time. I can think of the solution next time. But if I don't ask my students, if they do well, maybe because I teach well. If they don't do well, or maybe they are not hardworking enough. All these assumptions, year by year, passes us just like that. Nothing is gained. I learn nothing from my students passing, excelling, and failing. And that is a waste. So much information, but we never want to know. And next semester, we just repeat ourselves. We don't really do much because we have not been thinking hard enough. Yes, we do reflection. Every class, we do reflection while driving home. We reflect, why the students complain about difficulty in this reading material? Maybe I should choose another different, easier one for them. Yes, we reflect, but it is not evidence-based. It is just your thought. You are playing with yourself, your thought, your assumptions, and your belief. And usually, in normal circumstances, we only want to strengthen our belief rather than to challenge ourselves. Why we make things difficult for ourselves? Life is already not easy, right? We have to juggle and cope with so many things. So there is a tendency that we go back to the normal way, that is my way, like it or not, and we continue to teach. Along the years, we will get a lot of experience, but not improvement. There shall be little scholarship in this kind of non-unexamined practice. Yeah? So bringing you to examine practice, I need experts to talk to you rather than me. So I choose which one do you like to listen first? Have you seen this online? No. Huh? If it's too lengthy, we will cut short because we really need to do some individual work.
In the field, the comparison between the scholarship of teaching and learning, the big long title, and scholarly teaching is made often. That's a very common kind of comparison. I think they're easily distinguished. Scholarly teaching is more about consuming, using, applying scholarship. So the decisions I make as a university teacher need to be informed by something. They need to be informed by my own experience, by my conversations with colleagues, maybe just by my intuition. We've been doing that for a long time, and that's in its own way fine. For the scholarly teacher, however, there's a much broader set of places where you can go to be informed. And indeed, you use scholarship. So you go to a literature, or you just find information that is more systematically collected and more reliable, probably more valid than the intuitions and hunches you've been using before. So the scholarly teacher is someone who is informed by the scholarship. Those who are engaged in the scholarship of teaching and learning aren't so much the consumers as the producers. So we often talk about this distinction when we teach statistics, actually. We talk about whether or not you need to learn statistics so that you can consume them or produce them. And in the scholarship of teaching and learning, we think more about production of that scholarship. We're expanding our view of what that might mean. It's not just about empirical research. There are a number of ways you can contribute as you produce, but that's distinct from using. Of course, the same people go back and forth between both categories, but I think the distinction still holds.
I'm actually one of the people who is probably responsible for that distinction because it appeared in an article that I co-wrote with Lee Shulman, who was the president of the Carnegie Foundation at the time, and I was his vice president. I know that's been a helpful distinction to a lot of people. In some ways, I wish we hadn't made it. I like to think of those as part of a larger whole. I think that all faculty at various times in their careers can bring the kinds of habits I was just talking about, habits of inquiry, questioning, evidence gathering, to their work as teachers. I don't care whether you call that scholarly teaching or the scholarship of teaching and learning. I think it should be part of the repertoire of all teachers in various ways, to various degrees. As I say, part of the work of all teachers. So sometimes it can take more, what shall we say, mature forms. It can become a very sophisticated piece of published work. Sometimes it's more local and evolving. It might just be something I'm thinking about, working on, talking with you about. That thing might become the other thing. But I don't like to separate those two things out from each other. I don't think they're different in character. I think they're related phenomena on a continuum or in a cycle.
There's an interesting conversation in our field about the difference between scholarship of teaching and scholarly teaching. I take a kind of peculiar view on that question. I think that those things that some people call scholarly teaching are in fact scholarship, because I use maybe a different definition. To me, scholarship of teaching reaches that level. It becomes scholarship when it is visible to a community, that enables that community to use what you found, enables that community to critically review it, that you're public enough, you make your work visible and you accept commentary from others. And then if it is complete enough in the way you make it visible, they can take that idea and expand it or make it bigger. So to me, that's what makes work scholarly, is it's public and it's amenable to those kinds of audience reactions. I suppose one could call scholarly teaching if all you do is read other people's scholarship about teaching and then enact it in some way, but you don't continually engage in inquiry or make your results public. Where I guess I differ from some is I don't think you have to go through the conventional print journal peer review to become to make it scholarship. We have reasonable range of opinion on that within our organization.
I like to think of two relationships with scholarly teaching. First of all, it can be an intensification of scholarly teaching. If by scholarly teaching you mean thinking about consulting literature or people who are expert and have interesting ideas about teaching and learning in your field or in the wider area of faculty development, many different literatures are possible to inform what you do in the classroom. And if you are carefully designing your course with some of those ideas in mind, or your program with some of those ideas in mind, and keeping a close eye in your mind on what students are doing in your classroom, that's scholarly teaching. And to me, that is, the scholarship of teaching can be an intensification of that. So many people who are scholarly teachers might then take a next step and do a more formal inquiry. However, at the same time, the scholarship of teaching and learning is an invitation to scholarly teaching. Somebody who is engaged in a scholarship of teaching and learning project, because of the question they're asking, will frequently be propelled into literature either in their own field or elsewhere. They'll think about things differently. And that will make a difference in their teaching all along the way. So I see it as having a relationship on either side of the scholarly teaching, with ultimately, for me, the scholarly teaching is the goal of the scholarship of teaching and learning, not just for the individual, but for the whole community of teachers in your field, in your department, in your institution. By doing the scholarship of teaching and learning, especially taking that going public step, you're contributing to better and more informed conversations about teaching and learning that can stimulate scholarly teaching among others who might not even consider taking that step into the scholarship of teaching and learning.
You have just watched four experts in SoTL talking. Which one is the way you talk? The way you speak and lecture? You remember the first one? The mathematician? The white hair? Do you remember? You don't remember the face and the way they speak? So I just want to tap into something else. Okay, I show you their face, and then you remember how they speak, and then tell me which one you are like which one. Dramatic, monotonous, enthusiastic, or how? Yeah, we will see. Not listening to the talk, but first, second, third, fourth.
There are a number of good entry points into the literature. That's it. There are some daunting entry points. So it would be nice to get a little guidance. To have a tour guide would be helpful.
I'm sorry.
Among the books that I value most in
Which one? I am confused now. I think I pressed the wrong one. Maybe this one?
in
Okay.
scholarship teaching.
So this
There are a
is
number
the
of good
first.
entry points into the
First.
literature.
Oh, it's a different guy now. Okay, I'm sorry. This is the second, right? And then the lady. Cat. I'm sorry, and this will be the last one. So I got it wrong. This is a different one. Anyway, I just want to ask you whether you speak in a dramatic
They
way.
felt comfortable. And they are smart.
Do you know students want their teachers to be actors and actresses? If can, singers and Bollywood dancers? If can, if you are capable, competent and beautiful and all that. Do you know they want us to entertain them with knowledge? You know, like a big hotel, when they serve the first dish, it's always a queue, a lineup, and with fire and fireworks, and then come to you, the first dish, isn't it? To impress you. Students want to be impressed, but we have a different mindset of how teachers should behave and speak and what to wear, how to say things in an intellectual manner. We cannot bring ourselves down so much, otherwise they climb over us, they bully us, they don't submit on time. We have all those binding principles that what a teacher should be. It worked when you teach adult students, like how I'm facing you now. I know you will give me that authority and all this respect. But if you are only 19, you don't buy this authority thing. I just want you to be my friend. If can, you entertain me with knowledge, ever ready for me. They want this. And we are not quite ready for that kind of commitment, that kind of, a lot of energy needed to be a teacher today. Some are willing, some are not. Yes?
I will share.
Yes.
Because I believe that I'm the dramatic class. And
The dramatic one.
yes, I'm really from
You must be popular.
No, not popular.
No.
Because I need to be foundation students, the 19 years old, the 19 years old group. So they do like those drama and movements, swinging here and there, swing hands. But then they like it, yeah. But it will really crush you at the end of the semester when they don't really perform because, which I'm not sure why. Is it because too much drama or what? Okay, but then you need to put a lot of effort in doing that. Within that 1 hour class, you really have to put the energy on, and then so that 1 hour, 2 hours, so the first 1 hour you really have to put the energy, like yeah, I like an artist there, but then when it comes to the end of the semester, when you see that, a number of them fail, because my class is programming class, so it's a must for I accept it as a must. Every semester there must be a failure in the class. So when I get that F there, it was like, I put all the effort and then to have it again next semester, teaching with the same energy but preparing for the end of it, sometimes it's demotivating again. But yeah, it works with these 19 years old students. and then it do works with the third year students. They do love it too. But when it comes to a very big class, if it's 60, then 5 or 10 of them will have this thought. What's wrong with this lecture? They did tell me that, Miss, do you have to do that? Do you have to do that? But there are a number of those that, yeah, they ask me why ma'am, why you are not without the energy? Why don't you give that kind of lecture like before?
It was nice because I think what I asked triggers her. Because she has tried her best to make the class very fun, but very fun doesn't mean there was learning happening. So this is the fun part, don't give up. Because not many of us here are fun lecturers. You are rare. You are extraordinary, and you should keep that fun part. But now think of how to know that learning, absent or present, this is something that you need to work on. The fun part, don't give up. Looks like students are liking it. Because there are some of us here, including me, just don't know how to do the fun thing. Like very rigid, or cannot play with. Yeah, and you have that talent. And imagine if you are a primary school teacher, secondary school teachers, you will get lots of flowers during Teachers' Day. In university, we do not have Teachers' Day, and therefore you get good feedback. You know, people, miss, madam, please. You know, this kind of reaction is other lecturers do not have. The aura. Yeah, so keep that, but also have to manage the other one, the actual learning. Okay, I think I would like to go into the actual writing now. Otherwise, we may be late. So, there are two activities, proposal X and Y. Since you're now at your table, maybe what we do is fill up the table with 4 to 5 and choose either proposal X or Y for your own group discussion. And then, now put on your glasses as if the lenses, as if you are the assessor. You are not the applicant. You are the one that say yes or no to this proposal. Okay? 4 or 5 would be good. So everybody can speak. Briefly go through X or Y and choose one. No need to change. Yeah, okay, nice. Okay, the criteria for selection is the same. I used Prof. Raja Masna's material, and when I checked with Sue, it is the same. For UTP, you use this criteria for selection, A to I. It's the same. For both proposals, the criteria for selection are the same. Now, what is different is the interest of the project. You look at the bottom, proposal X. The research question will tell you about this person's preference. What problem is she looking into? So just based on your instinct of the group, yeah, would you choose proposal X or Y? We decide first, then we can hear both sides. Your group? Sure? This group, you prefer? You prefer X or Y? This majority. X, yeah? So 2X already. Dr. Chong's group?
Not yet decided. 5 minutes.
Not yet decide. We will force on you, you know. Those who don't take, you take Y, huh? Okay. Amy's group?
Oh, dia punya data semua. Data ambil pada dia korang. Betul nak buat sama dia. Point per hole. 5.5.
Nak cari lah sebenarnya saudara. Jadi orang ni ada dalam FX, orang ni cakap
Mission dia tak juga. Kalau kita ada version ni.
Kalau dah ada kan boleh improve kan? Data kan?
Tapi kena one month notice kan? Sebab dia one man juga. Kalau Aina, tu je. Syarikat swasta. Apa Intel? Intel tapi HQ juga. HQ kan masalah. Oh, dia immunity. Bukan dia boleh. Oh, mungkin boleh. Dia jawatan mana? Benda dia. Banyak lebih je. Banyak so tapi education-nya satu tu jadi swasta juga. Kredit kontrol lah hitam lah. Oh man, betul lah kredit kontrol.
Yang lain tak mesti berkaitan dengan ni macam nak make expensive.
Paling susah interview paling susah kita tu.
Tak pernah fikir lagi.
Oh tak nak fikir. Oh boleh sendiri. Oh ini dah ada interview.
Oh itu ada pesan VIP high cost.
Kawan kan Penang tu. Kedah. Oh okey.